Welcome back, Guardians. My name is Trans87. What are ghosts? These miniature paracausal AIs that live within us, within our light, who resurrect us when we die. These companions that continue to silently and audibly root for us when all hope is lost. But what are they? Yes, we accept them, but so little is known about what they are. These drones, no, these ghosts, come from the Traveler, supposedly crafted from broken pieces of the Traveler to aid in helping Guardians to become the defenders of humanity. So, what then, Guardians? Our story takes place during the Dark Ages, after the collapse, and before the emergence of what we know today as Guardians. Have a listen then to this fragment titled The Dark Age, and it reads: No one knew what had happened to the Traveler. No one understood what had happened to the world. But they heard the whispered call. They came from the wild lands, gathering in secret enclaves, slipping through the howling ruins of shattered cities, hoping to find the coast, find a ship, pick up the trail of an impossible dream. From the deep black came the awoken, their eyes haunted. Exos marched in the refugee columns, cloaked in moss and shattered memories. And among them came the ghosts, beginning their search. It was a time of vast suffering and terrible evil, but there was one hope, the promise of refuge beneath the Traveler. Guardians exist that even when we fall or face the precipice of utter ruin and despair, we remember from within that we are not like the ground we lay on, but instead destined for more, to overcome strife, pain, arguments, disdain, enemies, to woes or that person that told you you aren't worth anything. Those shackles are lies, and today you can break free from them. Why? Because there is hope, but it is perplexing, isn't it? Our so-called ghosts or shadows embody a part of ourselves in them. Always, they're supporting, guiding, lighting the way when things become clouded. Have a listen to the lore fragment from the lore book, The Dark Age 2, and it reads: Loken's men found Jaren Ward in the country yard, where this had all began. 9 guns trained on him, 9 cold hearts awaiting the order. Magistrate Loken, standing behind them, looked pleased with himself. Jaren Ward stood in silence, his ghost peeked out over his shoulder. Loken took in the crowd before stepping forward, as if to claim the ground. His ground. You question me. There was venom in his words. This is not your home. I remember Loken's gesture here, making a show of it all. Everyone else was still quiet. I tugged at my father's sleeve, but he just tightened his grip on my shoulder. To the point pain, his way of letting me know that this was not the time. I'd watched Jaren's every move over the past months, mapping his effortless gestures and slight earned mannerisms. I'd never seen anything like him. He was something I couldn't comprehend, and yet I felt I understood all I needed the moment I'd seen him. He was more than us. Not better, not superior, just more. I wanted Father to stop what was happening. Looking back now, I realized that he didn't want to stop it. No one did. As Loken belittled Jaren Ward, taunted him, enumerated his crimes and sins, my eyes were stuck on Jaren's pistol, fixed to his hip, his steady hand resting on his belt. I remembered the pistol's weight, effortless, and my concern faded. I understood. This is our town, my town. Loken was shouting now. He was going to make a show of Jaren, teach the people of Palamon a lesson in obedience. Jaren spoke, clear, calm, not anymore. Loken laughed dismissively. He had 9 guns on his side. Those gonna be your last words then, boy? The movement was a flash. Quick as chain lightning, Jaren Ward spoke as he moved. Yours, not mine. Smoke trailed from Jaren's revolver. Loken hit the ground, a dark hole in his forehead, eyes staring into eternity. Jaren stared down the 9 guns trained on him. One by one, they lowered their arm. And the rest of my life began, where in a few short years, so many others would be ended. The deeper we dig, we see just what Guardians, you, are capable of. But of course the mystery around our personalized drone, smart device, natured friends draws more blanks upon blanks. What are they? Surely, the speaker would have known more about our wisecracking partners, what their true purpose is, and why we were chosen. Come with me as I read the lore entry from the Book of Constellations, titled Waking, and it reads, I am the first speaker to see a ghost. The way we tell it after the collapse, the traveler cut itself into thousands of tiny pieces and sent them out into the world. These tiny pieces are drawn to me and to others like me, like moths. The first time I saw them, I thought they were surveillance drones, but up close, they were nothing like our old technology, not really. The way they move seems organic and natural. They spin their shells like they are ruffling feathers. Their little forward-facing lights blink like eyes. We're called ghosts, one of them said to me once, hovering at my shoulder as I tended a cook fire. Why? I asked, gentle, casual. They're all different, these ghosts. Many of them are like children, curious and friendly. Some are world-weary from the moment they're born. The ghost spun his silver petals, considering. Because we're searching, I think. It's a good enough answer for me. I'm searching too. I let the little ghosts follow me. We talk about what the traveler was like before the collapse. They like to hear it, and I like to remember. Deep in their core, they remember too, I think. They remember a time when they were all one piece, still. They like to ask what the traveler told me, and I recount all the dreams I can still remember. I haven't dreamed since the collapse, and this almost is like dreaming again. Today at twilight, one of the shy and quiet ghosts who has been lingering at my side asks if I will follow her out into the valley. I should say no, but she sounds hopeful, and I'm curious. We travel for several hours. The land here is recovering, not just from the collapse, but from the time before it. Resources for our settlements are scarce. But nature is creeping back in. The nature is cruel now. It's been starving and confused for decades, jostled out of its natural order, and now we reap the consequences. Wolves steal our livestock. Mange-ridden bears wander our compound late at night, pawing at our doors. The land is so thick with the memory of poison that it won't grow crops. We protect ourselves from this recovering world as best we can, and we rarely go out at night. But I'm drawn by a curiosity that feels beyond me. The ghost leads me to a barn with a sagging roof. She asks me to wait out of sight, she says. I think you'll scare her. I don't fully understand what she means. I crouch and watch as she hovers over the years-old remains of a person, barely recognizable. As something that once was living, the ghost floats over the body nervously and then scans it with pale light. In front of my eyes, flesh grows over old bones and tattered rags stitch themselves together. The person, a woman, gasps and sits up. I can't believe it. The ghost hovers closer to her new companion and says something quiet and reassuring. I can't hear it. I feel amazed, and then jealous, and then ashamed. Well, guardians, it would seem that we aren't any closer to uncovering the truth. But I do wonder if ghosts become more absent of their original intent the further away they get from the traveler, or if some just have a different level of intelligence, just as individual people have different identities. It might be safe to say, so do our companions. Have a listen to this final fragment titled Dark Age 3, and it reads, from the journals of Lord Collovance. What does one do when one's master has gone mad? I admired the man for so long, poured years of study into his leads, but now he has grown incapable of focus. I have followed his latest missives on Siva, and it is flooded with mania. Whatever he thinks this Clovis Bray might hold would make you believe that they were the only entity of any technical know-how, that they owned every piece of that tarnished golden age. I write this because I fear none of the others know or sense it. He has been so thorough, so right until now. Something snapped, infected him, turned him against his own sense of logic and reason. And here I am, left behind to tend the fires and the ironwood tree in this budding city, where everyone rushes at his promise or another wonder from yesterday. But I ask you, traveler, did you cleanse us from these technological disasters to prove we had gone astray? The light you raised us with points far away, from the trappings of a processed Earth to the nebulous power far beyond the stars. Had we gone wrong, and this is how you hope to correct us, we the light, to lead the way? It must be. But even your shattered hull seems like a designed system. Lord Timur has notes upon notes on your runes. Perhaps this is where his madness began. I wonder how long it will be until he thinks you were made by Clovis Bray. It is true that since the collapse we have grappled with an inclination as to the true purpose of many things. The traveller, the light. the pyramids, ghosts, Ahamkara, the Nine. Each, when tapped, sends a resounding note that lets out a ring, endless ringing, back against chasms and canyons of vast distance, only to echo back more questions. And every breadcrumb trail leads further into other unknowns and mysteries. So I will end this with the same very question we began this adventure with. What is a ghost? For now, we know they are part of us, of our light, ever watchful eyes or helpers to lead us down the path through the wilderness, out into a spacious place. And that truly is a good thing, right? However, that's all I have for you today, Guardians. If you have enjoyed this video, please feel free to leave a like, and also consider subscribing and hitting the bell notification to let you know when my next upload goes live. Remember that whatever you're going through in life, there is a good plan and purpose for your life. You can do all things. Stay safe and Godspeed.